Thank you for inviting me again. I think I am getting more closer to you with the IDIA because last time there is a program of temple stay organized by IDIA. I think the organizer is here. Also, our IDIA president and other workers also came to our temple. I am also expecting more that such kinds of programs will be there in our temple in future. And maybe more activity of IDIA in our temple too. I can remember that we had a center in Sogyeok-dong, nearby Anguk-dong, backside of this temple before, Lotus Lantern International Meditation Center, where many of the IDIA activities, classes, also was held there. Yeah. So I was a newcomer at the time, of course, so I have seen many classes, many teachers, many students of IDIA. Of course, I can today remember also Mujin Sunim. Many of you have seen her, I think, right? Many, those who are very new may not know her. Now she is residing in maybe Germany. Sometimes she visits in Korea too. Mujin Sunim, who was the founder member of Lotus Lantern International Meditation Center with our Venerable Onmyo. Also, we had one more important person, Brian Berry. Did you heard about that, Brian Berry? Yeah. So he passed away. So I can remember all these things happening. Anyway, I am also quite very happy that this continuity of this IDIA is still going on, and hope it will be for long time, until and unless there will be Buddha Sasana, we say, Buddha's ministry. And your activities in Korea, also we may hope that more activities of international level will be there in the near future. I am also having some ideas nowadays. Maybe later on we can say about that. Anyway, you invited me maybe some 3, 4, or I don't know how many times I am coming here to talk to you. It's good. After COVID, we can see each other face to face, and we can talk more. Before, when there was COVID, we had also one talk without having face to face. So the law of nature, the law of change, everything is changing. So now it's a very good day. So I have a good feeling. I hope you too. Today's topic is actually the teachings of all the Buddhas I mentioned like that. Maybe somebody surprised about that topic. It's so vast in some other way if we think about that. Because if we heard about the Gautama Buddha's teachings, then we talk about 84,000 teachings, sutras. Maybe, I don't know, Sunim will talk how many sutras in a very limited time. Somebody may talk like that, say like that. Yeah. The teachings of all the Buddhas also implies that there are not only one Buddha, right? The topic can imply that we have not just one Buddha, there are many Buddhas. In the text, it is mentioned also that we have innumerable Buddhas. Sometimes in Zen, we talk about that all the creatures are Buddha, right? Buddha is everywhere. But in the Theravada text, we also have the mention that there are 28 Buddhas, including Sakyamuni Buddha, or Siddhartha. And we also know that there will be a future Buddha that will born in this world when this Sakyamuni Buddha's ministry will be over. So that Buddha's name is Maitreya Buddha. Maitreya Buddha. Did you heard about Maitreya Buddha? Because all you study well. So we can think of not just one Buddha. There are many, many, many Buddhas. Innumerable Buddhas. Buddhas in the past, Buddhas in this present, Buddha in future too. Yeah. So sometimes it's not easy to imagine or think of all the Buddhas, right? Because we are very busy and not capable to learn about the teachings of only this Buddha too. Maybe it's difficult to just understand one ideology, one concept of the vast teachings of this Buddha. So we don't think maybe there are so many Buddhas taught in different eras, different realms, in different ways. But the Buddha's attendant, that main disciples during when Buddha was alive, Ananda has some interesting questions sometimes. Of course, other disciples too, they are very much interested to the Buddha, and they, from time to time, ask different questions. So once Ananda was asking to Buddha, as I mentioned in the topic also, right? Maybe. Buddha has expended his most of the time in Sravasti. Now it's in UP in India. That time it is called Savatthi. So we know that he expended around 25 Vassa. We say Vassa. Vassa means 1 year. The rainy season is called Vassa in Pali words, Pali language. So many of his teachings, many of his sutras are discoursed in Jetavana monastery in Sravasti. So dwelling in that, residing there, Ananda asked the Buddha, because the Buddhas that lived before our Buddha, Sakyamuni Buddha, they also taught the teachings. They also preached the Dharma. Maybe different Buddhas present the Dharma maybe in different ways. So is it true they present in different ways or the same? Then the Buddha has uttered this, what I wrote in the topic of the Dharma talk. In Pali language, Sabba papassa akaranam kusalassa upasampada sasitta pariyadapanam etang buddhanu sasanam. That's there in Korean language and Chinese language, in all other languages, of course, but I memorized in Pali language. So you studied all, I think, that. So the Buddha has says, this is the core of the Buddha's teachings. That means all the Buddha's teachings. Of course, the teaching can be so vast, it cannot be, summarized or cannot be composed in that way. But still, the Buddha says, this is the way, the main way how we should practice, how we should cultivate. This is the main theme of the teachings of not just me, all the Buddhas. Maybe it will be the teachings of other Buddhas too in the future. So then I actually had the mind that if we talk about all the Buddhas, innumerable Buddhas, that means what? That means not this present is the all or whole things. We have the past and we also have the future. Maybe in the past, we were also present in somewhere at some point of time, right? Maybe we not just all in only this limited, this life. Maybe we have also the life before this life. So we talk about the life cycles then. Life cycles. Reincarnations. Innumerable life innumerable lifetimes, right? Not just this life, life before this life, life after this life. And the beginning point and the end point, we don't know. So somebody asked before to me, what is the beginning of the life system? So what is the end of life? But Buddhism talk about life cycles, not the beginning, not the end. And Buddhism also talk about nirvana. Nirvana is total emancipation, total free from the life cycles. Totally free from the life cycles. When we end up whole of this, karmas, when we achieve the highest of spiritual states, we say arahant or enlightened, then it's possible we are free from all the bindings of this life cycles, reincarnation cycles. So these teachings and the reincarnations or life cycles, sufferings, all things are interconnected. All are connected. Because we also, when we talk about the life cycles, when we talk about the reincarnations, then we know that there are realms of existence, different realms of existence, not just human world. There are also different other worlds. I think you all have studied that. There are 6 different realms of existence, heavenly realms, right? Human realms, Peta realms, even in hell, Asura, animal realms like that. So all these are connected with the teachings. Because depending on how we apply the teachings in our life, how we practice, how we cultivate, how we purify the mind, depending on that, we can purify the mind, we can be more wise, and then we can become more enlightened. And that will decide how the course of our life cycles will go on. So it can be possible someone can enlighten in this very lifetime and be free from all the bindings and no more reborn again, maybe arahant or enlightened one, and then attain the highest of happiness. That is called nirvana, like that. So it can be possible if somebody apply the teachings, practice in very right way. It is believed we can have a click of a moment and become enlightened and be free from this reincarnation process. Reincarnation process means what? It's a continuity of suffering. We think that we are happy sometimes. Buddha says we might be dreaming, daydreaming. When we are very young, we can think that I am young, I am very strong, I am very handsome, I am very beautiful. I will not grow old. I will not suffer very physical illness. I will not die, something like that. The very energetic, young, handsome, beautiful person don't think of dying or suffering, something like that. There can be a misconception, something like that, But we are not free until and unless we are in the cycle of this life cycles, this reincarnation process. So there will be birth, growth, decay, and death. In the middle, we will have some sufferings, right? Many kinds of sufferings. So this theory goes on and on, these things goes on and on until and unless we are in the life, in the life cycles. So Buddha has explained in detail about the karma, what to do, what not to do, what is to be done ultimately, how to purify the mind, how to cultivate the mind, how to do mindfulness and concentration and progress through the path of spirituality stage-wise or become enlightened all of a sudden after long practice. The karma theory is very well explained in Buddhism, I think. It is explained, it is also taught in many other religions might be, but suppose in Hinduism, the karma is very, very famous there. They also talk a lot about karma. Many Buddhist devotees or many of the Buddhists also have the wrong conception sometimes. Buddha has talked only just about karma. Because in Buddhism, karma is main thing. Union of something like that, right? We have really interconnected with these karma things. But Buddhism doesn't just explain about the karma. It is explained very explicitly, very well, but it has given the solution of the karma. To come out of this karma, end the karma, and become enlightened and attain the highest bliss of, supreme bliss of nirvana. So, as long as we are in the life cycles, in the process of the life cycles, we are not free from this karmic process, karmic things. Every moment, there is going on, these things is going on. Because karma is performed in not just physical activity, it is also take place in the mental, deepest level of the mind too. We think, also we talk, also at the, at another stage we do something physically. So this sabba papassa akaranam, what I had read right there, you can see. Sabba papassa akaranam means sabba. Sabba is Indian Pali word. All. Whole things. All kinds. All sabba. Includes everything. Sabba. Papassa. Papa means bad. Harmful. Papassa. Akaranam. Actually, karanam, karma is same. Karanam and karma is same. Akaranam means avoid. No. Opposite of karma. Not do. Not doing. Don't. Or abstain. Avoid. So, sabba papassa akaranam means avoid all kinds of wrong or harmful or bad, evil things. Evil actions, evil karma. Sabba papassa akaranam. So that is very important actually. Suppose we avoid to tally the bad karmas, then what remains to do? If we don't commit anything wrong, then what we do? Something, if we do, then we will do something right, something good, something beneficial, something helpful. We talk about wholesome in Buddhism. Maybe wholesome deeds. What is papassa? What is bad? What is bad karma? You have a lot of study, many lectures you attend. You have to write exams to become an IDIA member also. You had all these studies. Still, I'm talking about that. Bad karma, sometimes we don't understand, right? What is good, what is beneficial, what is profitable for me, I can think it is good karma. That's why Buddha says, not just me, not just self, it should include all, whole. So we say wholesome karma. Bad karma means bad for me, harmful for me, also harmful for others. Good for me, harmful for others, bad for others. Then can we say it is good? No, it cannot be good. Certainly that's bad for me, harmful for me, I will not do that, right? But there is possibility that I can do what is beneficial or good for me without caring what is good or bad for others. In most cases, it happens like that. So it is not totally good karma then. So bad karma means avoid that is harmful for me, harmful for others too. That's why we see for the beginners who take precept in Buddhism, the 5 precepts also you can analyze this. There is all the 5 precepts Buddha says, not abstain, avoid, don't commit, not doing. Suppose panati vata vera mani sikka padam samadhiyami, something like that. We said, don't kill any living beings. The first precept. Second precept, adinna dana vera mani sikka padam samadhiyami, something like that. Don't take what is not given to you. Or we say, don't do stealing. Kamesu mitsasara veramani sikkapadam samadhiyami. Don't involve in illicit behaviors, sexual misconducts, and musawada veramani sikkapadam samadhiyami. All this you have studied, of course. Don't tell lies, something like that. But in the, I will talk maybe later on, it's not just lying. Verbal bad karma includes not just lying. There are 4 different categories. Harsh words, very strong harsh words sometimes also. Slanderous words sometimes. Slanderous words, harsh words. Tell lies, something like that also. And most of the time we don't know that it is also included in this category. Idle chatting. No beneficial talks, just time pass. It is also not, it should be avoided because time is very valuable. Idle chatting is also included in this category. And in the 5 principles, the last one is don't abstain or avoid from alcohol, intoxicants, something like that. So papasas, at certain, I have searched for a sutra called Salayaka Sutra. Maybe you can find it in Majjhima Nikaya, Middle Length Discourses. Salayaka is a Brahmin actually. Buddha was very famous, so sometimes some great teachers, even the Brahmins, also come to say hello to Buddha or salute the Buddha, or maybe they come to have an argument or debate. So in one occasions, when Buddha was residing again in the Sravasti, Peluvana, at the time, Brahmins came. Let me see. And Brahmin asked, as it mentioned in the sutra, what is the reason, Master Gautama? What is the condition whereby some beings here, with the breakup of the body, after death, reappear in plane of deprivation, in an unhappy destination, the lower realms in hell? Of course, it should be not just what I think, not just after death. It should be when we are living also, right? When we are alive also. But he asked the questions, Because most of the time what happened, as we believe in reincarnations, we are afraid that if after die I reborn in something somewhere in the realm of unhappiness, maybe hell, something like that. So the Brahmin was also worried. Maybe that's why he asked the Buddha, what is the reason or conditions that is the living beings or human beings, when they die, they go to the lower realms of suffering or in the hell. So Buddha replied, householders, as like in the Theravada traditions, we address the normal people as like upasaka, upasika, or householders, something like that. In Korea, of course, the very best way to address is bosalin or kosanin, something like that. So that time maybe, because the monastic and the householders, we divide like that. Or those who are living the normal life is householders. Those who are living in monastery are monastic monks, like that. So Buddha's address like householder. It is by reason of conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. By reason of unrighteous conduct, not righteous, not proper, that beings here on the dissolution of the body, after death, reappear in states of deprivation, in an unhappy destination, in perdition, in hell. So, of course, in the later parts, we have that explanation. What are the activities, the actions, the karma that are not in accordance with the Dhamma? Not righteous, right? Suppose it is very simple. Sometimes we see. Suppose there is a traffic, right? There's a traffic when we go somewhere in the city. We, of course, have to obey the traffic rules here. Who are punished? Those who don't obey, those who don't act in accordance with the traffic rules. Against the traffic rule, violence the traffic, and some accident can also happen. It's good nowadays, all there are CCTV, then everybody are caught. I was caught once when I parked in some, what to say, not allowed there, but I was not aware of that. So I had to pay penalty, something like that. So, not accordance with the Dhamma, not accordance with the traffic, we can say, in a very simple way. You violate the traffic, you pay penalty. You don't act in accordance with the Dhamma, you suffer. That means not righteous, not proper, not the wholesome deeds, like that. Householders, there are three kinds of bodily conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Bodily, physically. Unrighteous conduct. There are four kinds of verbal conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Unrighteous conduct. 3, physically. 4, verbally. There are 3 kinds of mental conduct not in accordance with the Dhamma. Unrighteous conduct. Also, there are 3 different kinds what we do mentally too. That means what? We have 3 different ways. Mental, verbal, and physical. So, then we have to be very, very careful mentally, verbally, and physically, right? So what we see here, 3 physical, 4 verbal, and 3 mental, including all, we have 10 different ways how we commit something, what we do something. So we have to be very careful. Only 10 different ways, right? So 10 unwholesome deeds, dasa or akusala kamma, we say. Of course, these are all the basic things what we study. But though they are basic, they are very, very important, utmost important. Without that, it's impossible. It's impossible to progress through the path of spirituality or to be free from suffering. That's why we have to remember again and again, maybe study again and again, try to practice again and again. We can talk a lot, discuss a lot, analyze a lot, maybe write about some higher some philosophy, this and that. But if we don't take care of the basic things, then there will be root cause that is remain unsolved, right? That's why it is very important, I think. As stated by the Buddha in the Salayeka Sutta, the 10 unwholesome deeds, which are also referred to the Kammapatta, meaning course of actions, consists of 3 bodily deeds, 4 verbal deeds, and 3 mental deeds. So unwholesome bodily deeds, what are unwholesome bodily deeds? How we do bad karma through physically. Though it is mentioned the 3 different kinds here, maybe nowadays we can include so many, right? We can include so many actually, physically, what we are doing. In this modern world, there are many ways we are doing something wrong. What I thought, actually, yesterday I was preparing that what should I go and talk. And suddenly I had the mind that we are committing even unknowingly something. Very bad karma, right? Anyway, I just read out the 3 different physical karma here. Killing any living beings, panatipada. Any living beings is different, right? Not just killing human beings, any living beings, any creatures. Why any living beings? Why any creatures? Because in Buddhism, there is interconnection, there is belief of reincarnations, life cycles. So that means what? All the living beings are interconnected. Even the insects. So life is very precious for me. I love myself. I am very precious. I don't like somebody harm to me. Somebody give some injury to me, right? I want to live very happily. I want to live long. I want comfort. Like me, all you also, whole of the creatures, not just human beings, all the living beings, for them, even they live for one day, harusari. Those who have only one day life span, for them also life is very precious. They also want to live very happily. They also like to be in comfort and don't like somebody harm them, right? That's why if life is precious to me, if I want to live happily, all the creatures want that. So why should I harm? Because I don't like harm by myself. That's why this precept, this bad karma is avoid, abstain from killing any living beings. That is very different with other religions. Whole of the other religions in the world cannot talk like this way. This is only Buddhism, I can say. In all other religions, there is killings goes on. Buddhism talk about the whole of the creatures, not just human beings. And to more further extents, what we see in the Mahayana tradition, in the Zen traditions, Of course, it was the basic main teachings of the Buddha. In Mahayana, we say what? Buddha nature, the seed of enlightenment. Not just life is precious for all, we also go more further that all living beings has the seed of enlightenment. Buddha nature is there. Everybody, everyone, all the creatures, there is the potentiality inherent in them that they can become, all can become as like Buddha. All can become enlightened as like Buddha. So we include, in Buddhism, include whole of the living beings, whole of the creatures. Unknowingly, we kill. Knowingly or unknowingly, we don't care about the, insects or other creatures. But if we go more deeper into, then we should also take care of even the minutest of the insects too. That is the first precept. That is what it is called not killing. So if we don't kill, then what we do? In Buddhism, what is encouraged? What we encourage people to perform, to do? To serve, right? Give lives, release lives, something like Bangseng. Free the life, those who are going to die, who cannot get the free life, who cannot enjoy the free life. Give them free, make them free, enjoy their life, something like that. Preserve. So if we avoid killings, avoid the bad things, then what remains, as I told you? There only remains to do is to do something good. Stealing or taking what is not given. As I explained in the 5 precept number 2, sexual misconduct. It is also, as you know, I don't go in detail. So these are the 3 physically we do something wrong, physically, by actions. So if we avoid, then we respect, we serve, we help, right? The first step is to avoid, to abstain from that, from the negative, from the bad. For unwholesome barbell deeds, as I told you, false speech, slanderous speech, it may not be false, but you will give such a strong impressions that it might be more than hitting. Or sometimes there is a saying in our language too. One verse is enough that whole of the jigu, whole of the globe get divided, fractured. Your one word make so hard to me. It's so hard to me. It will never join again. It breaks up my mind, something like that. Slanderous was something like that. It is not lying. It is so harsh. Slanderous speech, harsh speech, idle chattering. Nowadays, maybe it is more important because we don't normally use slanderous or harsh or don't tell lie, but we are involved in idle chatting. Time pass. That's very important too. It's also included in the unwholesome barbell activity, barbell actions. So 3 unwholesome mental deeds, mental with the mind, the mental conditions. Covetousness, ill will, wrong view. So then we have to be very careful in the mental level. It is, of course, very important because what begins, where the beginning point is the mind, the mental states, deep down there in the mental states, mental level. So we need to take care of the mental level. mental states. Sometimes what we decide in the mental level, that happens. Good decisions there, good thoughts, something good results can be there, ultimately. Because we think, we talk, and we do, and something happens. The results is there then. So if the mind is okay, without covetousness, without greed, without hatred, without ill will, or there are some wrong views too. We include, it is very important, wrong view. Wrong belief system, wrong views it can lead to opposite. Not improper, right? So to take care of the mind, we say purify the mind, cultivate the mind. That is, of course, the ultimate thing we need to do, because from the deepest level of the mind, it begins, it's the start. The beginning point is there. We can outwardly, at the outer level, we can understand, right? But at the deepest level, we say latent or hidden instinct, hidden roots are there. Suppose we cut the tree outwardly, then there is a root inside. If the root is alive, the tree can come out again. It can grow again. And of course, not just roots. There can be some seeds beneath, right? Deep down. That's why in Buddhism, of course, we avoid physically, verbally, the wrongdoings, unwholesome deeds, unwholesome talk. But mentally, it is very important. What is written here? Let me just read out. The 3 unwholesome bodily deeds and the 4 verbal deeds are self-explanatory. Covetousness is a form of greed, the unrighteous desire, craving or longing to have and possesses things that belongs to someone else. Ill will can include several states of negative emotions such as anger, resentment, aversions, animosity, irritation, hostility, grief, fear, hatred towards others. So many things. All these are negatives. Wrong view can generally be described as the lack of knowledge about reality, which can lead one to the unwholesome things that should not be done and to not to do wholesome things that should be done, as both have negative consequences. If I have the wrong view, then I will not do something that is wholesome, that is good. If I have the wrong view, then I will do something that is not good, because I have the opposite belief. Suppose if I believe this is, what is it? What is this? What is tea? This is tea, right? Huh? Deji Kamsa. Okay, I believe you, Deji Kamsa. Suppose this is the Deji Kamsa tea, or something like that. So I know this is Deji Kamsa tea. I have the right view, right understanding, right knowledge about this Deji Kamsa tea, right? So I can drink. Okay, I am okay. If I have the wrong view, wrong belief, that this is not, I don't believe her, that this is Deji Kamsa. This is having some poison. Then should I drink this? No, I will not drink this. I can remain thirsty. I can remain without the benefit of drinking and making my thirst, about these thirsty conditions. So wrong view, wrong belief is very difficult. Sometimes it's the main thing. Because of that, we commit whole of other wrong things. You cannot guide that person in the right direction because that person has deep down some wrong view. Suppose if I donate something to someone, some righteous, maybe monks, righteous person, then I can believe there is a merit. 덕행, 공덕, some virtuous, some meritorious deeds, I can believe that. If another guy don't believe that if I offer, if I give something, some donations, no benefit, no merit, he should work for himself. I work, I earn, so I have. Why should I give to him the hard earnings of what I possess? Then no good deeds will be taken place. What is offered gives merits or virtuous acts like that, right? So in that way, Buddha has given 10 different, listed 10 different wrong views. I will just, what is the time? How long I have to talk? So that I can arrange and conclude. Huh? 5 or 10 minutes anyway, okay. There are 10 different wrong views here. I am still there in the first part of the, verse, akusala sabba papasa akaranam, right? So, number 1, there is no merit in alms giving. Alms giving means donations. 보시 공덕을 믿지 않는다. No belief in what we offer and gives some benefits. Then nothing will take place right then. Okay? There is no merit in large offerings. Suppose somebody offers in a very big way. I will construct a temple or I will construct a school or something good, something big things. Oh, why should you do so much of possessions or so much of money? Why you spending some other? You should better enjoy yourself. Somebody can say like that, right? No, not just like that kinds of thing. There is no merit in small offerings. Even the small offerings also. 조금만 뭐 해가지고 뭐가 돼? Something like that. So small offerings, no, but not much benefit. Why should do? Better not to do. 1,000원만 보시해가지고 뭐가 되나? Something like that. 누구도 못하게 하지. If you offer just 1,000 won, then what will you receive later on? Just small offerings. No, not really like that. There are no results from good or bad actions. The karma theory, right? Sometimes people don't believe in karma. Good actions, bad actions. Sometimes people talk, whole life that guy is doing something wrong, still he is living very, very nicely, very happily, something like that. And sometimes people talk about whole life he is taking care of others and doing very good deeds, living properly, very righteous life, but he is always in the very, very not so very good conditions, not enjoying, not having enough, right? People talk in that way or sometimes. That's why maybe good or bad, who knows? Why should we believe that? Because we see like that. So if someone doesn't believe in karma, there is no special person called mother. Mom is regarded as one of the most special person in the world for anyone. Pumo, mom and dad, because of them I born in this world, right? So there is no special person called father, right? There is no this world. There is no other world. Sometimes this world and world systems, different realms of existence, people don't believe that. Don't believe. So if they don't believe in different realms, different existence, maybe reincarnations, then they can just think about the present conditions, then whatever they do is okay, because no life after this life, no reborn in hell or no reborn in reborn in the heavenly states or like that. If they don't believe that, then no. There are no instantaneous births. There are no ascetics who through right practice have developed special powers to see this world and the other worlds and have proclaimed it to the world. There are no instantaneous births. It's a little bit difficult. So instantly something happens. Sometimes we don't believe that. All of a sudden we have something, right? Why it happens? Who meet with these kinds of things? There is relations with the past, with the karma. All of a sudden something good happens to me. Scientifically cannot prove. All of a sudden something bad happens to me. Scientifically cannot prove, because I did not work for 8 hours. How can I receive that much of pain and something like that? But it happens sometimes. All of a sudden something good happens to someone. Something bad happens to someone. Something is there. So if we don't believe, no, nothing can. But it's there. We also have a lot of talk about the practitioners, yogi in Indian language, yogi, the practitioners, doin, you know, doin ita opta. There are highest spiritual achievers, practitioners in this life. Maybe there is Buddha. Many people don't believe that. Many people don't believe that. So if we don't believe that someone has the highest stage of spirituality, then we don't go to them and don't see them. Don't ask about the right practice, noble practice. How should I apply in my own life? I cannot get the benefit then. If I don't go to Buddha, then I don't hear his preachings, his Dharma. If I don't go to the, doin, the highest spiritual achievers, the practitioners, then we don't receive the teachings. I can ask my, state of what I am doing or how I should practice in meditation. What is the hindrances? What should be the guidance to progress further? If I don't believe that there is someone who has the highest achievement, then I don't go to them. Yeah? So these are the 10 different wrong views, misbelief, disbelief, something like that. Because of that, what is to be done, that person don't do. What is not to be done, that person can do that, right? Then what good results have to gain, he cannot gain that good results. What bad results he can avoid, he can meet with the bad results. So that's why wrong view also is a very, very important that we should avoid. That's why right belief, right view in the Noble Eightfold Path, there is one is called right view, samma ditti. If we have the right view, if we believe in the karma, if we believe in the Dhamma, then we can act in accordance with it. We practice, we cultivate, we purify ourselves, then we avoid suffering, then we progress through the path of spirituality, become more wise, right? So shall I proceed more? What is the time? Because if I proceed more, it takes more time. Or I conclude here. If you invite me later, I can continue from here. It may take more time. Huh? Okay, in a short explanations, suppose I explained about sabba papassa akaranam. The next one is kusalassa upasampada, something like that. Kusalassa. Kusala means wholesome deeds. What is wholesome deeds? As I told you, that is beneficial for me, good for me, also good for others, beneficial for others. Good for me, not bad for others. It's okay, right? It doesn't harm others. I get the benefit, nobody get harm. It's okay, right? It's also good. But good for me, bad for others, it cannot be considered as good. So selfish and wholesome is different. It's something totally different. Wholesome means you should take in consideration not just you, but as a whole. So the first practice of metta, we say in Buddhism, is we say practice loving kindness. In Pali, there is a verse called Sabbe Satta Sukita Hontu. May all living beings be happy. If you memorize that also, if you just continue with that also, it's okay. It's very good. Good energy will arise in you. You will feel with the love, feel with good energy. And if you love, care other living beings, then all other creatures, other living beings will love you, care about you. There is a saying, our Grand Master, Venerable Master Seoul, he says, if you do some business, do big business, not just a small business. If you pray, then also pray for bigger, more wider, not just for you, only one. Pray for all, or maybe pray for others. Namal viye kidohara, something like that. Namanol viye, only for me, it's very small business. The profit is very less. Suppose you are doing some business to serve whole of Korean citizens. What will you do then? You will do at national level, something like at the stage of the national level. Suppose we can say Samsung, a kind of. I don't know. I'm not. There are someone who don't like Samsung. Maybe I'm not like that. Just a general talking. Suppose if Samsung succeed in some new models or something very popular in the whole of the world, then whole of the profit will be there. Then whole of the Korea will be famous. Korea get more richer, something like that. Big business like that. Suppose I myself I have some radish in my field. I do cultivate pumpkins, potatoes in my field, and I go sell in the market in Kangwon Island, Pungmul Sijang. So what benefit will be there? It's a very small business, only for me then, no? So yes, it's like same as like that. Do business very big, our Grandmaster say, for all. So 기도 할 때도 남을 위해 기도하라, something like that. Not just for my own benefit, for my own self, something like that. So Kusala Kamma means, because the time is very limited, I will say, Kusala Kamma also is there 3 levels. One is physical, verbal, and mental, right? So mental is more important because it begins from the mental level. So mind should not be filled with negative elements. It's like anger, hatred, greed, craving, attachment. You have filled with your mind with full of negativities, full of anger or greed, then you do something, you decide something. That cannot be good decisions then, because your mind is filled with negativity. You are very angry at the deepest level of your mind, you talk that. What will be your words? Angry words will be there, right? So, to conclude in a very short way, I can say that there was a monk in Buddha's time. Because he, of course, he was a householder before, a normal person. He was very much inspired by the teachings of the Buddha, right? Buddha talk a lot, give Dharma talks, and he follow Buddha, and he listened to the Dharma talks, and then he started practicing 5 precepts, 10 precepts, then ordained. Then at the later stage, he became a monk. He received ordinations, because that's the best way, very short way, straight way to develop oneself through the path of spirituality and attain enlightenment or arahant, something like that. But when he became a monk, monastic, when he was ordained, what happens? He sees so many rules then. You don't do this. You don't eat at afternoon, or don't drink this and that. Oh, wow. Then he was so complicated, so much of rules and principles. 개울이 많잖아요. 스님이 지켜야 될 게. Oh, he says, oh, it's so, I came to join this monastic life because I want very short, very straight to gain the spiritual stages, higher stages. But it's different, he says. I have so many principles. Wow, so complicated, so stressful. Then he decided to go to the Buddha and talk to him. Then he went to see the Buddha. I want to talk to you. Then Buddha says, what do you like to say? He explained that when I was a householder, you came, you teach, you give Dharma talks, I was inspired, and from the different stages I'm trying, practicing, and ultimately I become monk. And after become monk, I find it so difficult, so complicated, so many rules, so many Vinaya, so many principles have to obey. Then Buddha says, is it very complicated? It's very, very difficult. He says, yeah. Then Buddha says, then I will give you the simple one. Okay, that will be very nice. I will be very happy. Then Buddha says, guard your mind. Just cultivate your mind. Observe and guard your mind. Know your mind. So if we are careful at the mental level, we let go of all the negative elements, negative forces, then what remains? That only remains is positive one. Automatically all other bad or unwholesome deeds will be guarded, because at the mind I recognize, I observe, I am aware of that this is not beneficial, this is not good for me or good for others. It is harmful for me, harmful for others, so I avoid them at the mental level. So this kusala kamma, kusala sa upasampada. Upasampada means you have to commit, you have to, determine that. Kusala sa upasampada sasita. This is the next level. Sasita. Sitta is not easy to pronounce, translate. because mind is not fully citta. Citta is the mental volitions at the mental level, at the citta. Purify the mind. Anyway, it is translated as purify the mind or cultivate the mind. Sassita, sassitta, pariyadapana. Etang buddhano sasanam. Etang buddhano sasanam. This is what all the Buddhas teach in different eras, different realms, different Buddha eras. Previously also, now also, maybe in future also. To add a little bit more about our Grand Master, he says, Sunim, 참회하라, 참회. 삼천배. Did you heard about the 3,000 vows? Anybody did that? 참회, 참회 기도. 참회 means same thing as akusala, papassa, papassa akaranam. So in the different way, he teaches like that. Papassa akaranam, 참회하라 means repent of your wrongdoings. You are doing prostrations, bowing a lot because you have some bad karmas maybe. Then you will be very, very conscious or aware of not to do something wrong. Because if you do something wrong, then again you have to do bowing. Lots of, yeah. So 참회하라. Next stage is 나멀 위해 기도하라. 정진하라. These three stages, also same as like sabba papassa karana, kusalasa upasampada, sassita pariyadapana. Same like that, but in different way. That suits in this country, in this society, to the devotees of Korea. So he found that way, how to teach, how to preach to the people, what should be beneficial for them. That's why at different eras, different Buddhas, different enlightened masters, the technique, maybe in different way they teach, but the main teaching is same. That's what it is there, that teachings of all the Buddhas, if we see, analysis, then they teach in the same way. And in another occasions, Buddha says, I teach only two things, about suffering and to the end of sufferings. Something like that. Okay, because of time limits, I can conclude here. Thank you again for inviting me. I'm happy to see you again. We'll be happy more to see you more. And I will be happy if you have more connections with Lotus Lanterns, because the connection is there as IDIA was formed by my master, Venerable Onmyong, Mujin Sunim, also there at that time, Ryan Berry. I don't know about some Korean members were also there. So unluckily, my master, he passed away very soon in 2003 at the very young stage when he was 53. And though he had, I count, we were 17 disciples, international disciples. Of course, one Korean disciple was also there. But as my master is not living, so many returned back to their countries. Some practicing as normal persons, some practicing as a monk. My duty now is my responsibility, I can say, is to carry on here, manage the temple, develop the temple. Luckily, because of this Korean government and Joge order, the systems changed for the international preaching. This Temple Stay program is very good program. We are recognized and supported by the Joge order and and the government also included, to do the international level of temple stay. So I am doing it for 10 years. When I become abbot of Lotus Lanterns, temple is not so very well constructed yet. We need many more construction and development, but still we have enough of, if we don't care too much of comfort, then we see we have enough of facilities to do programs. And I see almost, I don't know, maybe all different parts of the world, participants are coming to us. Even Peru, Venezuela, or Mexico, Europe, whole of Europe, United States, ASEAN countries. Of course, the Korean participants are also there. So in that way, if I can say that I am also still continuing my master's wish that he has dreamed of, to teach and preach this Korean Buddhism to different parts of the world. One of the main objects to form this IDIA is also he need a big army to dispatch in different corners to, I can say, to spread and teach about Korean Buddhism. So if we think about that, all you have the responsibility, not just me. Of course, you will know that you are one of the very important persons as a Pogyosa, Dharma preachers, to contribute to your most extent possible, living in Korea, or also maybe in the different parts of the world. So we try. Whatever activity we do, our activity will serve the purpose, also benefit maybe to those who come in connection with us. So I'll be happy if we have more connection in future also, and we'll be happy that you will do some more good preaching works. Thank you. Wish you all be very happy, and
thank you very much for your kind Dharma talk came for us. It's the time for Q&A. If you have any question, please ask me. Please don't.
Okay, 5 minutes. Somebody you like have any questions, so I can discuss. We can talk. I am nowadays very much habitual to Q&A, to talk, because many participants of different countries, they're coming for temple stay, and we take tea time and also different discussions. They ask so many of different kinds of questions to me. So I am okay. You can ask.
Okay, it is very difficult to keep the pure lifestyle, like Buddha said. But in the Ukraine or Russian war, many soldiers kill each other.
Okay.
To keep their nation or their virtue or their belief. So it is how we understand this case. Or a very simple thing, sometimes we kill mosquito. To kill. So, and sometimes for preparing the food, we kill animals, fishes or birds, or even cut a tree, plant or root. So all kind of this action is against the Buddha's teaching on how we can understand this.
The situations when there is war is really, really difficult. Even in Buddha's time, there was war in 2 different countries. Buddha tried very much to, to make peace and convince them to reconcile. but even Buddha could not succeed. Then there were war in Buddha's time also. There was killings. The war-like situations is a very, sometimes very serious conditions, no answer sometimes. This war is happening. So, Buddhist point of view is very simple. Sometimes we see, if we see the teachings, then it is simple. We try to cultivate the mind. Cultivate the mind from the mental level. If we do not fill with negative things, we don't commit the negative or bad karma. Suppose I love all living beings, then I don't kill other living beings. There will be killings and all kinds of wars and disasters may happen in different corners of the world. Natural disasters can also be there. What I can do is I can cultivate my mind. Also try to also help others to cultivate their own mind too. Suppose if I not commit wrong from mental, verbal and physical level, I become more wise. I progress through the path of spirituality, and those who come in connection with me, I can talk more about wisdom, more about spirituality to them. Suppose if I do nakshi, fishing or killings, then somebody come to me, then what I will talk to them? I will talk about fishing and killings, right? So in that way, suppose it is believed or it is said that if we cultivate something positive at the mental level, positive energy generates. If I cultivate loving kindness, compassion, the energy of compassion come out, reflect. If I filled with negative anger or negative elements, it also generates negative energy and people can feel in around like that. So war-like situations, maybe it's not possible for an individual to control, but individual level, we practice, we cultivate the mind, and then proceed. Thank you.
Once more,
Yeah.
is it okay to kill mosquito? People fight.
Suppose you have a life, your life is very precious, you want to be happy, and you want to live long.
Yes.
So mosquito also have life. Mosquito's life is precious for the mosquito, and mosquito want to be happy, want to live long, same as like you. Then you decide whether you kill the mosquito or don't kill the mosquito.
Then, what do you think about food chain?
Food?
체인, 먹이 사슬,
먹이 사슬.
체인.
Chain of food.
Food.
Yes.
As long as we live on the earth, we must eat to live and survive.
If we debate about vegetarian and non-vegetarian, the debate can be endless. Buddha says, we don't use vegetarian and non-vegetarian words. Buddha says the food is as like medicine. You take medicine because you have the illness of hunger, or starving. There's a fear that if you don't eat, then you can starve to death, or you cannot practice like that. Suppose you debate for vegetarianism or non-vegetarianism. Suppose we what to say? We breathe in, breathe out. Air is coming in and it's going out. So when the air is coming in, I cannot see there are many insects in the air also. It's going in, and that by that process I kill them.
Yes.
Maybe. Or when I walk around, then many insects come to under my feet. They get killed, right? If I do some work in the agriculture field, many insects unlikely, also unknowingly, unwillingly get killed. So that's why in Buddhism, the mental conditions is very important. We say volitional actions. Willingness should be there. Number one is you decide, you will, want. You decide, right? Some kinds of mind arise that I will kill or I hate, or then I decide, then I do, then the opposite beings get killed. Then it is called volitional wrongdoings of killings. So that's why we are very observant, aware of all the time about our mental conditions. I should not wish or will or decide to do something wrong, to kill. Then unknowingly something can happen that will not affect my mind as much as I decide, right? So always be careful of the mind. We don't go for complication. As in the concluding speech, I say the monks became very complicated of so many things. Then Buddha says, observe your mind, guard your mind. So don't get angry and kill the mosquito like this. Oh, there is mosquito that he also like to live. Something like that. Thank you. Okay.
Please stand up to give a word of respect of vows to Sunim.